Let's go.
In the midst of everything during the week on the Club Scene podcast powered by Energy, we forgot to mention probably the most important
You
thing
forgot.
this weekend is that Morris and Jer are now on their Easter holidays. And with that, and with that comes the round robin, which in all seriousness is one of the biggest weekends in the Energy All Ireland League calendar. The four provincial winners will face off in Mullingar in the absolute superb surrounds of their new facility there. You could do a hell of a lot worse, Morris Hartree and Ger Burke, than going out and spending probably about €5 to €7, depending on how much a pint bottle is in Mullingar. The weekend where there's a little bit of sun to watch. Boyne against Kilfeacle and District, the winners of Leinster and Munster respectively, and Enniskillen against Craigs, the winner of Ulster and Connacht. Moss, you've actually been involved in this last year with Thomond and Bective. I didn't think you went to the game in Ashburn because you were hungover, but can you kind of give us a feel of?
They wouldn't allow him go because he's a Jonah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it paid off well. And then I went to the final where bet. So I just said I better not go to home.
But in all seriousness, the weekend, one of the games kicking off at 1 o'clock. That's Boyne and Kilfeacle, and then Enniskillen and Craig's kicking off at 3 o'clock. So obviously, a clash with the 5 rounds of Energy All Ireland League. But anybody that's in the vicinity in Mullingar that's at a loose end, there's two
Is that what the
qualifications in
guards
store.
said? Yeah.
No, that's Templemore, isn't it?
Oh, Templemore.
Yeah, I suppose, look, we'll start by saying, Burkey, I know you're blaming Frawley for forgetting the games, but we obviously recorded Monday. It's Friday evening now. Sun is splitting the rocks outside, but the fixtures actually aren't on the
Oh, here we go.
website.
Here we go.
They're not in the fixtures bit. Like the last couple of years, the round robin fixtures, you've stage 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 2C, and you can click into round robin when the fixtures are there. They're not there.
Yeah.
So
in another life, you're a traffic warden, Morris Hartley. You know that?
Ridiculous. Anyway, but I suppose we'll talk about the games. Look.
But you're right, though, it's because this is potentially one of the two biggest games a club could ever play.
Yeah.
Like, going senior, and especially for a club, if it's your first ever time to go senior, is one of the biggest days that you'll ever have in the history of the club. Like, you know what I mean? So it should, and from us as well, it should have gotten more build up and recognition than it currently has. And this is a small effort to make up for that.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why we're here on a Friday evening. And look, Burkey as well. A few clubs. Let's not beat around the bush. See going senior, and they see the costs associated with it, and they're probably here. Look, no, that's not for me. Thanks. Going to North 3 or 4 times a year, and the cost entail with it. But I suppose the regionalisation is probably created an incentive, especially for these 4 clubs. Known like. If I take Kilfeacle, for example, who are playing Boyne, like they have to go to Skibbereen, Crosshaven, Clonakilty, Bandon, you know what I mean? Like they'd be better off going to Tobin, Bruff, Clonmel, the incentive
a lot less picturesque in your second round there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
Tobin. I know we said there's a bypass in Moyross, but to be fair, but the point is valid. Just on that, Berkey, you were obviously with Crosshaven for a number of years. Looking at Kilfeacle, I'm not sure if you're watching Dave Station in the background there, but we might come to you there, Moss, before this descends into chaos on Friday afternoon, as Ger Burke is finished it off for 2 weeks. God only knows what he's up to. But as you mentioned there, not putting words in your mouth with regards to Kilfeacle, but as Berkey said, this is a much more viable year to go senior than previous years, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. But I also just think, it's status.
Yeah.
All of us obviously have first-hand experience of going to Kilfeacle. What a ridiculously proud club. Year on year, people ask the question, how do they keep producing? How are they always competitive in Division 1 Munster, no matter what? So you're going back 20 years before that. Junior Cup in Munster, being one of the hardest competitions to win, they're always thereabouts. Wouldn't it be great to see them senior? You know what I mean? Would it be great to see people have anyone in the All Ireland Junior Cup will attest this, and anyone who's in Munster Junior Rugby will know going to the hill, as they call it out there, is a unique experience. And I would love to see clubs from Dublin arrive down there to see the cultured people of Kilfeacle. I just think it'd be magnificent. And there's an awful lot of great people involved in Kilfeacle Rugby Club. It'd be great to see them have a hop off senior.
Indeed. Boyne looking to bid for a return to senior rugby as well. A lot of quality players in Enniskillen. We have long-time listener and former Barnhall player that won't be named for legal reasons. We joke. Adam Chester now plying his trade with Enniskillen. He plays against Craigs, who themselves are no stranger, Moss, to semi-finals and finals. But I suppose for people who mightn't be familiar with it, the winner of Boyne, Kilfeacle and Enniskillen Craigs will face off in the final, and they will get automatic senior status at the expense of the team that finishes 10th in Division 2C. The loser of that final will then play against the 9th place team on a date to be confirmed. So a small bit convoluted, but at the same time, huge prize up for grabs.
Yeah, it is. And look, you look at these. You speaking about Craig's there. They've been thereabouts. I think this is their third year in a row here. They've been beaten in the semi-final the last 2 years. Who beat them? Bective beat them last year, and was it Monkstown who beat them the year before?
Good thing you researched it before we came on, anyways.
I think it was Ballyclare actually. So, they've been thereabouts. They've gone well in the Ulster Junior to a stage. They gave St Mary's an awful beating in it this year. Got to beaten in a semi-final. So they're familiar with all of this All-Ireland situation. And Enniskillen new to it. They've played the All-Ireland Junior Cup for the last couple of years, beaten in... No, they won the All-Ireland Junior Cup. Was it last year?
Good research, Matt.
I know, yeah. I actually did research it as well.
Just plopped out. Doesn't matter. Out of the classroom. Doesn't matter.
Easter holidays, they got brain switched off.
I think Enniskillen did win
already.
I think Enniskillen did win that, and
they did win it. Yeah, and they were just beaten Pip last year by Dromore. I think came down to second last game of the season last year because I was following it with Thomond. And they were beaten that day in a very close game. The winner of that would have won the Ulster League. So they're obviously a very good side because you can see how the Ulster teams have done over the last couple of years. They've been very, very good. So they'll be decent as well. You have Boyne coming in, who are a bit of an unknown, to be perfectly honest with you. They won 1B in Leinster last year and obviously come straight up to 1A and win 1A. So, I mean, look, you're going to have to be a hell of a side to win Leinster Division 1, especially with C Point in it, who won the All-Ireland Junior Cup. They were only mid-table. So, Boyne must be a fairly decent side. And Kilfeacle have been pushing Thomond over the last couple of years, their main competition. And Thomond have obviously done okay in 2C. Kilfeacle are fully fit, I think, this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how the games go. It probably is wide open.
Anybody that's played junior rugby in any province in this country, Mass, to win Division 1 is no joke.
Yeah.
Junior rugby is one hardy game, and it's been going from strength to strength, I think, in the last couple of years. And we won't go about calling winners here, and I just think it's going to be a fantastic weekend of rugby, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed it is. And Burkey, just bring us back. You said junior rugby is hard. How hard would it be for either of these teams, fellas who aren't teachers, if they decide to go and have 7 or 8 pint bottles on Sunday and then all of a sudden someone says, do you want to have an old vodka and soda water? How hard is it going to be getting out of the cot on Monday morning? Is that something why you moved to senior rugby for the Saturdays? Is that something you want to delve into a little further?
No, look, it was a coincidence that my first year coaching Crosshaven, I happened to be sick a lot of Mondays. Every person that I took happened to be Monday. They had nothing to do. There was no correlation in that whatsoever. The crack in a junior rugby club on a Sunday evening is because I suppose you're not supposed to. It's the hardest thing in the world to get away. But if you're the kind of rule of thumb is if you're home by 10, you're okay.
In the morning, that, 10 on Monday morning, exactly.
Yeah, after that, you're playing with fire. Like
a reminder that the clocks do go forward this week, so an hour less for the lads in the nightclubs on their teacher holidays. Boyne, Kilfeacle and District at 1 o'clock, Enniskillen against Craigs at 3 o'clock. Both games in Mullingar. The prize, a final and shot at senior rugby. Apologies again for forgetting this on Monday, but hey, we've got it on Friday.
It's done now.
Yeah, it is. It's done. It's done. So no sign off. Just we'll go with that.